Well, hi, hello, how are you? I am CynDoll, and today we are going to dive deep into curly hair and all of these rules that have been made up about it. The truth of the matter is, curly hair can do the same thing that every other texture can do, but there are policies, procedures, certain routines, and patterns that you need to follow. So today we're going to unpack a few of them, right? If you are new here, then hi, I am CynDoll. I am a licensed cosmetologist, herbalist, trichologist, research scientist. Did I say herbalist? And owner of Simple Apothecary LLC. As you can see, both of the clients that you'll see in this video come with their hair already properly detangled. So when they come in, all I have to do is remove the few twists and go ahead and start the process. There is no detangling that I have to do. There is no removal of knots or anything that I have to do, right? So when we're first getting started, the first thing that I'm going to do is begin my color formulation. This color formulation that I am using is all based around Joico. I love Joico Lumishine. Their color line is absolutely amazing. I'll be talking a little bit more about color on the CynDoll network. That's the only place that I will talk about any type of chemical services and the directions that you should follow for them and all that jazz, right? So the first thing that I'm doing on her hair is first creating a shadow root. So with this shadow root that I am creating on her hair shaft, what we are going to do is create a really nice dimension. Now, what you are seeing popping up right now on the screen are a few of the gurus from inside of the 7-day challenge and what they all have to say about the 7-day challenge. There are so many reviews that I have for you guys. I'll have a video coming really soon, just all about the reviews and all about what people have to say about the 7-day challenge, but it's something so sacred to me. So if you need a detailed breakdown on all of the things that I teach about here on my channel, then the 7-day challenge or the growth site blueprint is where you need to be. But we will unpack that in a video coming really soon. But I want to get to the basics, right? Because even when we talk about something as like hair color, right? Most people think that hair color is as simplistic as just taking some hair color, slapping it on your hair and letting it sit, thinking you can mix whatever colors you want to make certain colors, and that's just not how it goes. When it comes to hair color, it is literally a science. So right now, we don't have to do any type of lifting. All of the colors that she's having put on her hair right now are all deposit only color, meaning I don't have to go lighter. I'm just depositing color. We're not going to take her hair any lighter than it already is. So instead, we decided to go with like sort of kind of little sultry red like color, right? That made it really, 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 really easy for me to be able to create this type of dimension for her. Now, we didn't go for an extremely dark, bright red. That was not my intention. That's not what we were going for, though. So that's not what we did, right? But most people think that like color and all of these different things damage your hair. It's not true. The things that damage your hair when it comes to hair care, like hair color and chemicals, are when you're just playing in your hair and you don't know what you're doing, because it's a science and it's nothing that I can say in a 20-minute video, even a 30-minute video, hell, even an hour-long video. There's nothing that I could say in a video to make you understand all of the complexity of hair color. It just doesn't work that way. Most people go into a beauty supply store, they see hair color, right? You see the picture on the bottle or on the box, and you're like, oh my god, I want my hair exactly this color, and you're under the impression that if you have black hair and there's a woman with red hair on the box, that all you have to do is put the hair color in your hair and then you're gonna have red hair like her. And it doesn't work like that. First, you would have to remove the pigment, right? You would have to get rid of all of the melanin that lives within the cortex of your hair shaft, right? And then once you did that, you would have to replace it with a brand new pigment. You would have to replace them with brand new pigments. These are the things that I really want you guys to think about. But it's something that everybody skips over because these are not things you know unless you go to school. Before I went to cosmetology school, I was on the same stuff, right? I remember mine was Cream of Nature, and I went in and I got a Cream of Nature box because I wanted to do this honey blonde color, and I was under the impression that all I had to do was go get it and put it on my head and I'd be good. Girl, that color sat on my hair for a minute. I was looking like Carrot Top, and I got so nervous. I didn't understand hair color yet. I didn't understand that there's levels of pigmentation that it goes through. So I just hurried up and rinsed it off like, oh my god, girl. And I was walking around looking like Carrot Top because I did not understand the complexity of hair color. I didn't understand it. There are levels to it. And when I'm saying this, I'm saying it only because I went to school and learned those different levels. If you don't go to school, you're just playing in your hair. And that's with everything, right? That's with anything, with any trade. We have a video coming up really soon where I'm going to break down trades to you guys so you can really, really understand like what doing hair is. Doing hair is a trade, just like being a mechanic is a trade, just like there are a whole lot of different trades, right? And when you understand what a trade is, you understand how to do business with a hairstylist or a cosmetologist. Somebody that's doing a trade with you is not your friend. Okay, it's a business, but we'll talk about it in another video. All of the comments that you guys see popping up on the screen are your comments. I just want to let you guys know that I see you. I appreciate you. I really, really do. And the reason that I do what I do, in spite of whatever anybody has to say, is for the women that are popping up on the screen, for the comments. For every one person that has something negative to say, there are at least like 30 to 40 more of you that are like, oh my god, you changed my life. And that's all that matters to me. It's literally all that matters to me. So everything else is literally just background noise. Serious. So when most people get hair color, or when you hear about hair color in general as a black woman, and the reason that I'm saying as a black woman, or the reason that I'm bringing up black women, is not because I'm attacking black women. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a black woman too. I don't know if you know this, but I have curly hair too, which you'll see in the very next video. But when you go to cosmetology school, or when you go to school in general for anything dealing with the human body, you learn about the differences, but we have more similarities than we do differences. The differences are very, very, very minute. And it is within learning these minute differences that the routines and the patterns change and are adjusted slightly. For example, if you are a person with extremely, not extremely straight hair, but with naturally straight hair, right? You're trying to get the oil out. You're trying to wash your hair more so you can get rid of more of the natural sebum that's coming from your scalp. But if you have curly hair, the slight difference is the curl pattern. And because of the curl pattern, right, you have to go a little further to do stretched hairstyles. But everybody's doing stretch hairstyles. It just takes you a little more effort in the blowout. Your blowout technique is a little different. But every woman walking the face of the earth shampoos her hair, conditions her hair, blow dries her hair with the leave-in conditioner, and uses a flat iron on a heat low enough to be safe for her level of porosity. Everybody does that. But For whatever reason, well, it's not for whatever reason, for on social media, it has become a money grab. Out of every race, Black women have become the biggest money grab in the industry. Why? It's not because, oh, people are racist. It's because people use your insecurities against you. And that's not just with a Black person, that's with anything. That's what business is: supply and demand, right? What is the demand? What is the problem that most people are having? Well, out of every woman on earth, the woman that is most like confused about their hair, the woman who makes up things the most about their hair, is the Black woman. So because the Black woman is the one that walks around saying herself verbally, we don't have enough tools, I don't know how to do my hair, nobody's educating us, people make us feel ugly and all of this, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna make stuff for them to feel better, because it's about money, supply and demand. And I know that because hair is an emotional thing for you, you automatically put that emotion on everybody else, thinking that everybody holds the same emotion that you do, and that is not true. Okay, it's not. This is a business for these people, and it's nothing wrong with that. They don't know you personally. When you walk into a beauty supply store and you pick up a product from Ulta, they're not like, oh, okay, I see her card information. This is Shalissa Green from New York City. She bought 4 products. No, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. It is about money. It is about supply and demand. Notice how whenever Black women stop focusing wholeheartedly on oils and butters and all of that, and start saying, okay, what about bond reconstructive treatments? Have you noticed that the same exact companies that started the whole Team Natural thing, that rode along with the Team Natural thing, they all have bond reconstructive treatments? Why? Supply and demand. You are the consumer, you control the market. They're watching and they're seeing who's talking. Now, the comments that you are seeing pop up on the screen, I just want to say hi, hello, and I love you to everybody that commented on my last community post, because like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time, for over a decade, and well over a decade. And when we are breaking things down, right, it's like, okay, well, you know the science, you learn the science in this book, but let me see your hair, but let me see your hair, and let me see your hair. And so the thing is, most of y'all put the identity that YouTubers have showed y'all put that on cosmetologists, and you want a cosmetologist to perform and act the same way that a YouTuber does, and it don't work like that. When you see certain cosmetologists, yes, obviously at this point, a lot of cosmetologists has been like, okay, I have to my hair has to be at least clean and blown out, right? But for the most part, you're not gonna see cosmetologists all done up to the flow up. You know why? I can speak for myself. When I had the extra time to do my own hair, people were like, can you fit me in? So the space that I fit you in was the space that I had for myself. And then when I get done doing your hair, the only thing I have left within me is what I have to give to my children and my husband. So it's not as simplistic as that. But anywho, when I make videos on my channel, I do not teach by showing and playing in my hair. I've been in school for a long time, and I'm in school right now. And since the day that I went to cosmetology school, there has never been a time where an instructor has taught me by doing their own hair. That's never happened before, ever. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach the way that I was taught, and that's what my channel has been. But because you guys are in the YouTube mind frame, you're like, if you're going to teach, you got to show it on yourself too. It's like, what? What are you talking about? I learned how to round brush from a gay man named Mr. Angelo, who had no hair on his head. And actually, the hair that he did have on his head, he had bleached white, and the sides of his head was like, one side was purple and one side was green, and he used to like alternate. He didn't have a piece of hair on his head. And that's who taught me how to round brush the way that I know how to round brush. Or I had 2 children, 2 C-sections. One C-section was freaking amazing. The other one, not so much. Guess what? The one that wasn't so good was done by a woman with a uterus. The greatest experience that I had having a baby was with a doctor, an OBGYN that was a man. He has no uterus. He has no cootie pop. He will never know what it feels like to be pregnant, to have a baby, but he knows his shit. He's been in school for decades, and he is an amazing OBGYN. And him not having a uterus, him not having a vagina, him never carrying a baby has nothing to do with the level of knowledge that he had. And it had nothing to do with the way that he was able to deliver my baby. Nothing. The OBGYN that did my surgery after him, she had to follow his stuff. She followed all of his stuff. You can't even see my C-section scar. It was done by a man, and it was because my son was due April 26th, but my water broke January 2nd. So he couldn't. He was out of town. He wasn't ready. But then when he came back, he was like taking care of me. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. He's back. Oh my God. I love the other doctor, but oh my God. So I'm saying all that to say this: when we're talking about the human body, and we're talking about the science of the human body, when we're talking about your hair growth, when we're talking about your hair growing and all of these different things, I need y'all to really pay attention to who you listening to. Are you listening to people who have been studying the science of the human body their whole life? Or are you listening to somebody who's been studying YouTube hacks and fads? Because there's a difference. When I was in the hair industry, I worked in solar salons or studio salons. I had studio salon suites that were nowhere near other cosmetologists because I couldn't stand the way that other cosmetologists moved. I couldn't stand the fact that everybody wanted to go along with fads instead of sticking to the science that we all agreed to stick with. That's what we all went to learn, but they didn't. And just like you have a responsibility to book consultations before you pick a OBGYN to deliver your baby, just like it's up to you to make sure that you go to a couple of mechanics and get, second opinions and things of that nature to see the best mechanic to go to fix your car so you're not assed out. It's the same thing with your hair. Hair is a trade. It's not separate from every other field. For whatever reason, y'all all believe that everybody who gets a cosmetology license is automatically supposed to be good, and you go to one cosmetologist that's not good, it's on everybody, and that's not true. Or you believe that you should just be able to walk into a hair salon, and because they got a cosmetology license, everybody should be equally as good, and it's not true. That's why you have some cosmetologists you see, they say, I'm a master cosmetologist, I'm a master barber, I'm a master colorist, I cut hair, I'm a master at cutting, I'm an educator. Like, when you hear people, cosmetologists, that say things like that, those are cosmetologists that kept going to school after cosmetology school. If they only went to cosmetology school, then, I'm not saying that they're not good, but let's be for real. You cannot compare the knowledge that you get from somebody's channel who only went to cosmetology school and that's it, and then maybe took a couple of classes from a couple of people who got a bunch of followers and stuff on YouTube and things of that nature. You can't, you can't really compare somebody like that. I'm not being boastful, but you can't compare somebody like that to me. I have a practice inside of certain dermatologist offices. Like, I get consulted with dermatologists. Like, we'll be in the same room together. One patient, 4 different professionals for one patient. I'm one of the professionals in the room. right? So it's not as simplistic as just like, oh well, yeah, Sin doesn't do hair anymore because she didn't like them and they made her feel bad, so she just left and now she does. No, 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 it wasn't that. I was standing behind a chair, and in my spare time I was doing YouTube, and in some of my spare time I was working with the dermatologist that I work with now full time. I was working with their, I don't even want to say part-time, I was just consulting. So I had to make a choice. What did I want more? Did I want to sit down and argue about Team Natural stuff with clients in my chair? Or did I really want to jump head first into the science of the human body? And I think we can see what I chose, right? So when you see like, oh, views and this and that, like, y'all, that absolutely, it means nothing to me. But in my heart, I was like, okay, yes, I've left the industry and I am very successful at what I do, but my passion is still for the people, for the girls, right? I still want y'all to be able to really, really hone in on real hair care. I really want y'all to understand that Black women are no different from every other woman walking the face of the earth, and the thing that separates you are your patterns and routines. When I went to school and I started sitting down and looking at it, right? Because I went to school to prove everybody wrong. Like, no, you don't know what we talking about. Black women, yeah, we need oil, greases, and butters, and da 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 da. Y'all don't need that. I went on the same shit that y'all on right now. And then I had to learn. Not only did I have to learn, I sat there and I studied to show and prove them wrong. And in my efforts to prove them wrong, I proved them right. And I made a believer out of myself, because as a scientist, my question is how, when, and why. Explain it, make it like break it down. I want to see it tangibly. Right? I want to be able to touch it, feel it, smell it, understand it, deconstruct it, and put it back together. And if I can't do that, it doesn't make sense to me. The Team Natural stuff makes no sense. You cannot deconstruct it and put it back together. You can't. That's why all of the women who started the Team Natural stuff, you can't give them, like, mark my words, go on everybody's channel, right? Look at the very first thing that they showed you. So let's say I'm going to use Ayurvedic. With Ayurvedic herbs, right? Go to the very first time that you heard the Team Natural girls start talking about it, and then go to right now, present day, 2025, all of the girls who brought y'all that mess are like, I think I'm changing my mind. I shouldn't really do this. Actually, I changed my mind, and I should have never really been doing that in the first place. So now we're going to do this instead. Okay, guys, don't do that. Do this instead. The only thing I'm really going to put on my hair now is henna. Or actually, guys, we don't need oils and butters and grease. Let's not do that. Let's not do grease anymore. Let's try the bagging method instead. And y'all are just thrown left and right, from here to there, everywhere, and it makes no sense. Because let me tell you something. You find it's a cosmetologist that I met years ago. Her name is Gigi. She's older than my mom, or the same age as my mom. My mom just turned 60. Gigi has been doing hair the same way the whole time she's been doing hair. She's been doing hair for well over 40 years. She hasn't switched it up. So ask yourself why the real OGs, why y'all want to talk about ancestors and all of that. Ask yourself why the real OGs been doing the same thing that they was doing 40 years ago. They doing the same thing today, if they still standing behind the chair. Ask yourself why they're staying the same, but the people that you watch on YouTube have a new hack for you to follow every time you go on their channel. I would have so much more respect for the Team Natural girls if every Team Natural person that was online only had one product that they stuck to the entirety of their channel. Okay. Cool. All right. That's your method. That's your product. That's the stuff you sticking to, but it's not like that. It's a different product every time because it has nothing to do with hair care. All they care about is product pushing. They all have links. Even the Revere Air Blow Dryer, nobody's promoting that bullshit to y'all because it's great. Everybody that promotes it in the video, there's a link in the description box and they're getting a commission. If the blow dryer is $500, the commission that they offered to me for Revere Air, the commission that they offered to me was 45%. 45%. So all of the girls that keep telling y'all to go buy that bullshit ass blow dryer, right? If they have 100,000 views on that video, if only 10% of 100,000 people click that link and go purchase them, you do the math and you tell me how much money they making off that. And then after you see that amount of money before you let me know if whether or not that number is motivating or not. Not to mention, there are way more than 100,000 views on most of these channels. And I also need y'all to be aware that even here on my channel, most likely you're gonna see an ad pop up on my video. If they even hear the word Revere Air, I can make a full video talking about how much I think it's trash. They will still pay for ads on my video. Do y'all understand that? On the Revere, if y'all go watch the video right now that I have on the Revere Air Blow Dryer, when it's playing, they're going to post ads. Do y'all understand that? Like, if you can't see the marketing in that, I don't know what can. They don't care anything about your hair. Now, when you see the Revere Air Blow Dryer, the marketing is like it was created and it's only useful for black women and black women and black women alone. You barely see other races on the commercials. What should that tell you? What does that tell you? So as we've gone along in this video, right? As you've seen the comments pop up on the screen, right? You can clearly see for yourself that regardless of how many people make videos about people like me, like, oh, misinformation, da 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 da, all of that, the good outnumbers the bad by so many numbers that it doesn't make sense. But even though the good outweighs the bad, people still got sticky internet fingers. So all of the information, the how-to, the directional, the exactly what to do is only on my private platforms or within my courses and challenges. That is it, and that is all. But in 2025, I will be posting a whole lot of information on the CynDoll network. It will be free. Soon, when I do, for example, I am going to do a lecture on hair color, but it's going to be like 3 hours long. That is going to be on the paid network, and you will have to have a subscription to see that, and that's just that on that. That's the only way that I'll be able to protect myself, period. So that'll be coming up really soon. I'll let you guys know. You'll be the first to know whenever that is released. But I need y'all to understand that hair is a science, and it's not as simplistic as just getting up in the morning and going outside and picking the dandelions that's outside and putting them in a pot and boil them and putting it in your hair with grass juice. No. And these are the things that I want you to think about. The women that you've seen pop up on the screen are accountable women. These are accountable women. These are women who can hear me without offense. So for everybody's comment that popped up on the screen, for all of you that commented on that community post, I love you guys so much. And I just want to say, like, thank you for your continued support. And I do it for you, because I know that the water is so muddy. It's so confusing. Before, it was Cosmetologist, and then and YouTubers, and it was very easy to tell the difference. But now the cosmetologists are just as dusty as the YouTubers are. Instead of the cosmetologists standing strong 10 toes down like I did, and like a couple of other cosmetologists like me did, they all was like, shit, you can't beat them, join them. And when you talk and you spit lies so much, it becomes your truth. That's what my dad used to always tell me, don't lie. Don't lie, because when you tell a lie, you got to tell another lie to keep that one going. And then once you tell that lie to keep that one going, then you got to tell another lie to make that one make sense. And then after that, you got to tell another lie to make that one make sense. And that's all that's happened with Team Natural. With Team Natural, it started with blow dryers and flat irons are bad, they the devil, and you should never use them, because they're going to damage and break off your hair. And black women should never straighten their hair, and they should never use combs and brushes because it's bad. So then everybody said, really? Well, what do we do instead? So then here comes another lie to cover up that one. Oh, but then when I use my fingers, if I don't use a comb or a brush, then what do I use if I don't use a comb or brush? Oh, well then you use your fingers, then you finger detangle. Oh, but when I use my fingers, then I still get knots and tangles, and I can't get through it and stuff. So what do I do then? Then here comes the next lie. Well, you need oil, or no, not even oil. Well, you need water. You gotta wet it first, then you gotta have it soaking wet, and it gotta be done in the shower. Then here comes the next lie. Then you gotta cover it with conditioner, and oh, but even when I color with conditioner, sometimes I need more. Then here comes supply and demand. Here comes another brush. Here comes the wet shampoo brush that they made. Like, cosmetology has been around forever. We've never had to use a brush to shampoo our hair. You know why? Because you're not supposed to use a brush to shampoo your hair. Your hair should already be detangled before you touch a comb or a brush. Or water. I'm not a comb or a brush before you touch water. That's a fact. If you have box braids in your hair and you take the box braids out and then you just get right in a shower without a comb or a brush, every place that there was a box braid is going to turn into a lock. It's going to turn into a dread, a lock. So where did the water get so muddy that we went from, oh, you got to make sure that you detangle your hair before you wet it. You got to make sure you comb your braids out and detangle your hair properly with oil before you wash it. How do we go from there to now we detangle our hair wet in the shower with conditioner? It's insane. And then when you're in the shower, you're getting globs and globs and globs and globs and balls of hair in your hand. But you don't notice the thinning because you're black and you're not supposed to have your hair straight. So you're never able to actually see the damage. So you go 6-7 years thinking that your hair is healthy, doing the Team Natural way. And when you stretch your hair out, it's long, so you think it's healthy. And then you go sit in a cosmetologist chair, we straighten it out and show you that you can see through to your soul. And instead of you being accountable, you say, oh, well, combs and brushes are bad, or this brush made my hair thinner, or you have heat damage after you flat iron your hair and you blame the flat iron instead of blaming yourself for constantly having highly acidic products in your hair, or leaving your hair wet all the time, or doing the lock method and layering all of these heavy products on your hair that have made holes, rips, and tears in the hair shaft. So when a cosmetologist, when you sit in her chair, she strips your hair shaft of all those products, and then she applies a flat iron, you have holes and rips and tears in your hair shaft. And if she's a regular cosmetologist, not saying there's anything wrong with that, if she doesn't have a microscope, an electron microscope, if she doesn't have one at her station, then she won't know that. Especially most of the people who have that issue, you came to your appointment without your hair properly combed or detangled. Social media has made you believe that having matted and tangled hair as a black woman is normal, and that it's so normal that a professional cosmetologist automatically is prepared to deal with matted and tangled hair, and that is not true. It's not. It's not. Having matted and tangled hair all the time is not normal. It's not. I can count on one hand, without using half of the fingers on one hand, how many times I've had matted or knots in my hair. And it was after a day of laziness. I remember vividly the day. Vividly. It was after my brother got married with his dusty ass. It was after my brother got married, and I took braids out of my head, and I was tired when I got back home. My son was in NICU. Still, well, no, my son had just came home from NICU, so I was all into him, and I took my braids out, and I did a half-ass job combing my hair out, and got in the shower and washed my hair, and that was the only time. Other than that, I don't have matting and tangling, and neither do my clients. Both of the women that you're watching right now, they don't have matting, knotting, or tangling in their hair because they follow directions. They understand the hair is not gonna comb itself. As black women with curly hair, y'all have to stop looking and running to products to do the job that you're supposed to do on a daily basis. If your hair is out every day, you need to comb it. And if your excuse is, oh, well, but it's hard to comb my hair, well, you need to wear your hair in a way that makes it easier for you to comb it. If the way that you're wearing your hair on a daily basis makes it impossible for you to comb your hair, my love, you found the style that you should not be wearing. And that's just that on that. And if it makes you feel away, then it just makes you feel away. But that's what it is. And I just want to ask you, why is it that we can't have regular conversations? Why is it that you can't just sit and think without offense? Why is it that you can't receive from a woman that looks just like you, from a woman who has curly hair just like you? Like, if you could try to catch it in this video clip right here, this is right after like my big chop. Well, not even my big chop, where I cut the rest of my relaxer off. And I was growing my hair out just like y'all. Like, what are we talking about? And there's levels to it. Obviously, if your hair isn't long enough to even flat iron, then yes, you'll do what y'all call wash and goes. I don't call it a wash and go. I call it a wash and set. But once my hair was long enough to do something with, things changed. I wasn't still just walking around with my hair like that. It was unrealistic. And even with my hair like this, I comb my hair every day when I woke up and every day before I went to bed. It's not an excuse. You having curly hair is not an excuse. If whether or not you're going to comb your hair, or whether or not you're able to comb your hair. Now, normally we would not have this type of breakage, but at this point I was retired from doing hair, and she hadn't seen me in a couple of months, but I was having a pop-up that I did for Olaplex. And that's why I was just working at my friend's studio. It was probably like a month that I was doing these videos or whatever, that you guys will see this room in particular. But I went ahead and after I got done with the clients that I was doing for Olaplex, which was the last client that you just saw, that wasn't a paying customer, that was for Olaplex. But this day I was like, girl, I'm already gonna be up there, go ahead, you come through, right? I'm gonna be up there, come through. Obviously this wasn't the same day, two completely different outfits, but same thing, right? So we are getting her broken ends off. She did not care because she already knows that her hair is going to grow extremely fast. What's super dope about her hair though, this isn't the original color that we did. This is the color that it faded to. And when she came in this day in particular, I was going to refresh the color, but she was like, no, I actually like this. Like, it reminds me of like cotton candy. So we decided to go ahead and keep it. And this is how everything ended up turning out. But I really want us to get to a place where we can have conversations, right? I'm using my older videos to do like our voiceover type videos, and plus y'all can, you know, have something cool to watch. But I also, again, wanted y'all to pay attention to the comments that were popping up on the screen. So I know they were coming up fast, but now that you've watched the video already all the way through, watch it again and make sure you subscribe to my backup channel. All right, I'm gonna post a couple of videos over there, but more than anything, if you've made it thus far, even if you haven't made it this far, even if you just scammed through and you got to this point, it doesn't matter. Go over there, subscribe to my backup channel or my new channel, whatever I'm calling it, I don't know, but I'll be there and here. But go subscribe over there. All right, and when I get 1,000 subscribers over there, then we'll do another video. But there was a video posted over there like a couple of days ago, and it's a really good one. I'll leave the link to it in the description box below, so go check it out. But at this point, again, I am completely going through her hair and making sure I trim her ends, get all of the split ends and the breakage off. After I get the baseline done, then I go throughout her hair and make sure I put in a couple of, I don't really want to say layers because I'm not putting in drastic layers, but I use elevation to get the split ends from the top. Sometimes most people don't use elevation to get hair off the top. A lot of times people will just use they'll just have it at one even length at the bottom, and then you'll still have breakage all throughout the top. So I always tell people to ask them to give you long layers, maybe if you want to get more of the damage off. And a lot of cosmetologists aren't necessarily comfortable cutting all of y'all damage off, because you'll go ahead and cut the damage off, and then y'all leave and get in the car and be like, oh my god, she cut all my hair, she cut all my hair off, oh my god, they scissor happy. So y'all can't have it both ways. Y'all have to understand that to every action it's a reaction, and the action that y'all have been putting out is really shaming professional cosmetologists. Y'all have been shaming professional cosmetologists and dragging professional cosmetologists through the mud so y'all can follow these YouTubers. And now these YouTubers are done playing in their hair and they're all going back to professional cosmetologists. And so now y'all are all stuck either looking or watching other videos, other Team Natural people who are still like anti-cosmetologists, or you're just playing in your hair and you trying to become a YouTuber. So these are things that I really want everybody to think about, right? This is just food for thought. This video is just food for thought. Coming really soon. We have quite a few topics coming up where it'll be a full talking head video where I'll be talking to y'all, right? We're gonna be having a conversation, right? And you'll see me, but I just want to give you guys visuals. I want to give you a visual representation of the things that I say. I want to give you a visual representation of the women who listen to the things that I say, and I want you to visually see that it is abnormal for Black women not to have long hair. That's what's abnormal. A Black woman having long hair is not weird. It's not. Black women not having long hair is weird. Black women not having healthy hair is weird. And as you've seen in this video, if you read all of the comments that were at the beginning, when women throw away all the Team Natural rhetoric, when women throw away all of the offense, when women are able to stop being rage baited by people who are literally in it just for rage baiting and views and clicks, then you'll be good. You'll be good. I have a whole nother platform that's not even connected to YouTube. I'm not doing this for YouTube fame. I'm not been there, done that. Okay, been there, done that. And it's not something that's constant. It's something that you'll always be chasing. I'm not chasing that, right? I'm not. in any way, shape, or form. So I really hope that this makes sense to you guys. I really hope that it opened up an avenue for you to start thinking about something. And I'm asking you this question, and I want the answer in the comments right now, especially if you made it. What did this trigger in you, or what did this make you think about? What aspects are you really going to start to unpack in your everyday life? And what changes do you really think that you could commit to right now? What changes can you commit to? What things are you doing to your hair right now? Be honest. What things are you doing that are contributing to your breakage? And be honest, are you a black woman who believes that you are wrong for blow drying or straightening your hair? I want you to loose yourself of that shame. Loose yourself of the worry and the guilt, because most black women who straighten their hair or use a blow dryer, if they walk into a room with a bunch of women who wearing their hair natural, you feel bad. So y'all took it from, oh, we get shamed by other races, to now we shame the shit out of each other. Because let me tell you something, people of other races at work could never make you feel as nasty and low as other black women make you feel if you decide that you want to straighten your hair. So if you are one of those black women, you won't admit it, but I want you to look in the mirror. Because there are a lot of you here, but a lot of you are watching silently. So my silent watchers, I need you to ask yourself, why have you allowed them to race bait you so much? Why have you allowed them to make you into enemy number one of the black woman? A black woman has to fight no one harder than another black woman. And I want you to look in the mirror. Stop being, why are you always attacking? This is not an attack. This is not an attack. That is a call for you to be accountable. How accountable are you? Because everybody's big, bad, and tough, but this is where the strength is. How much can you hold yourself accountable? Let's talk about it in the comments. I love you guys so much. Oh, and do you like her cotton candy? That's what we called it, cotton candy. We ended up leaving it like this. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I really hope that this wasn't too much for you. I hope that you're not mad at your girl, but I really want to talk in the comments, and I really want us to get past this place. So I'll take the villain role, but I'd rather not. I love you guys so much, and until the next video, bye. Let's talk in the comments.